Oh, I know. It's very windy today.
Crazy windy. Hey, Lacey. Hello, Denise. How are you? I'm good. How are you tonight? Good. I can.
Hi. How are you guys?
Good.
Seems good. Make a chair. It's funny, we tried to fly a kite today, but then of course like it would die all of a sudden and then come back.
Yeah, it's almost too windy, the gusts, and
Yeah.
then nothing.
And then a crash. There we go.
I haven't done that in years. Sounds fun.
We were cleaning out our shed, so discovered an old kite. We have a couple smaller ones too, but then our dog tried to chase it a little, but
I used
never,
to love flying kites.
never a dull moment. Yeah. We've had times where we've gotten one up pretty high. So we just need to get back into practice. And maybe like go up higher on a hill. We're sort of over a hill, so even on the windy days it kind of dies and starts, it seems like. Let's see. Can I see who all's here? So far, Denise and Sherry.
Hi, Denise. How are you? I'm fine. Did you get that baby? Yes. Little baby boy
Ooh.
with a big name. Braxton James is his name. But yeah. That's a great name. And everybody's healthy and happy? Yeah, she had to have a C-section. And then, so she's still there till tomorrow. They'll keep her. So, but that's fine. They're super cute. They're very young, and yeah, so, yeah.
So is this you becoming a
Great aunt.
great aunt? Okay.
My great aunt, yeah. It's my
Exciting.
brother's first grandchild. So.
Okay.
Aw.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Can't wait to see him sometime.
My sister's due with her second in September. She's having a boy, so that's exciting. That makes us 50-50 because I have 3 sisters. One of my sisters has 2 girls. I have 2 boys, and my other sister has a girl then boy. So this one followed the girl boy. So now we're 50-50 on gender.
Yeah, I actually have another niece. She's due in September as well. So.
Okay. Exciting times.
And that's a girl. We do know that's a girl. So.
They did a Zoom reveal on the gender. They had their little girl. She already knew, I guess, but poor, like, I don't know if it was vinegar and baking soda, but then it came up, but it looked sort of green on Zoom, so we were like,
You're having an alien, are you?
Is that blue? It wasn't pink, so.
That's cute.
Yeah, it was fun. Most of us got on there. And my brother's getting married in August, so we're hoping that's all good. But I guess they want to go on their honeymoon to Japan, so we'll see.
Oh,
They may delay that a while.
yeah. Hard to say. Hard to say.
Yeah, they're trying to stick with the regular date for the wedding that they had planned, so I don't know. I mean, I guess you can fly to Japan now if you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a girls' weekend planned. My girlfriends from the New Orleans area, we were all going to Destin. We had a beach house rented, and yeah, we just decided to cancel my ticket yesterday. So, it's going to be too chancy. Anything being open, flights being canceled. So
Yeah. I mean, I know they have kept a lot of flights going, but a lot of them will just have one or two people on them, so.
exactly. Yeah, those are the kind of flights that there's really only one or two, and I've kind of been keeping track of people I know that are flying. I mean, Southwest, there were flights going down to Dallas and Houston last week with 35 and 40 people on them.
Yeah.
So,
A little different situation, yeah. Yes, I know a flight attendant, and she mentioned one that was quite full, so.
really? Awesome. Hey, Kina. Hello, how are you?
Hi!
Good.
Welcome to yoga.
Well, thank you. I hear this is a really good class.
Oh, well, I hope
It's
I
true.
live up to the word on the street.
Okay, I'm going to set you up.
Okay. Sounds good.
You see, you're so technology savvy. No, not at all.
She is, yeah. Let's see. There was a time I could zoom a little. Oh well, this should be good. I'll just scoot it for a little. Welcome everybody to Yin Yoga. This is Gentle Yin, so we'll have a nice relaxing practice. Thanks for joining in. We're just going to begin laying on our backs in Shavasana-like pose, resting pose. If you want or need to, you can always elevate something under the knees. I always grab a beach towel, so if you have something like that, that's nice. And we'll get started. So, welcome to Yin Yoga. We'll begin by relaxing down and getting comfortable. As you sink down, just beginning to let go of everything, really. We've been doing this online practice together now for quite a while, it feels like. But it may be that every time's new or different for you, so just being open to that. As days and weeks go by, we're each adapting, as humans are so good at doing. So, as you relax back, getting comfy, closing your eyes if you want, and then just tuning into your breath, connecting with your breathing through the nose, relaxing the arms and legs down. Closing eyes if you want, just beginning to let the present take over, noticing what your senses take in this moment. So tonight as we practice, a concept came to me today. We will be focusing a little bit on the hips and the legs tonight, as we often do in Yin Yoga, thinking about grounding. And so we're also thinking about those anchors in our life that ground us. So as you begin your practice this evening, just thinking about what is grounding for you, what gives you a routine in each day. You might have rituals or habits at specific times in the day that help connect you, and they might also be weekly rituals like this one, weekly things that you do that keep you connected and stabilized within your life. And of course, something that's very grounding, that ties us to the present moment over and over, is our breath. So tonight as you breathe, inhaling and exhaling, allowing each breath to sink you a little deeper into your mat. Expanding through the lungs, then sinking down, letting go. And as you do, checking in with the mind, the powerful mind. Without our anchors, it's easier for the mind to jump from task to task or activity to activity. Without our anchors, it's easy for the mind to become distracted. So as you anchor the mind to the body tonight, letting the breath be that connection that as much as possible lets you stay here in the present, even when different winds blow in our life, physical or perhaps a little more esoteric. Even when those winds blow, we can find our anchors. We can create anchors that keep us stable. So beginning to release now through the body, relaxing the toes and the feet. Releasing, you can find a little gentle motion through the ankles. Sometimes as we draw tension into the body without realizing it, we become less able to ground and stabilize and relax. If we lose range of motion in our joints, we can't settle and sink as easily. So as you're breathing here, just checking in with the little joints. You could find some wrist and elbow motion here. And then resettling the arms and hands down. Checking in with the shoulders and neck. You can draw one ear towards the shoulder. Then the same side ear to the other shoulder. So just finding some gentle motion, side to side in the neck, feeling that opening in the other side of the neck as you gently pick the head up, rotate it over. Really just drawing self-awareness to the forefront of your mind as we begin our practice. Just opening up to notice where you might be holding on or letting go less. And as you sink and relax the body down, letting go of thoughts in the mind, letting go of activity, giving yourself permission to empty the brain. through this process of letting go of thoughts. We're renewing the soul. We're giving our system a chance to recharge, to restabilize. From here, we'll bend one knee at a time. We'll draw the knees into the chest, letting that core sink down, so almost tucking the hips a little. Letting that lower back stabilize on the ground as you rotate through. Bringing knees to chest. And then relaxing the arms down to each side. Letting the legs rotate left and right. Finding a little gentle motion through the spine. Opening through the opposite arm if you can. Reaching the fingertips out. Opening the chest and shoulders. From here, coming back to the center, we'll lift the arms and legs up. We'll just point, flex, spreading fingertips and toes out. You can bend elbows and knees as needed. Reaching out with arms and legs. And from here, we'll gently turn to one side. Coming to seated pose. And we'll move into butterfly. So in butterfly, you can always elevate the hips if you want, using a blanket or towel. If you feel resistance in the hips and knees in butterfly, that's a sign to let those hips elevate a little, to find a way to lift them, so that as you sink forward, you can truly relax into your fold. In Yin Yoga, we always do our forward folds to lean towards that cooler side of yoga. So as you begin to lean forward, connecting hands to toes if you can, just beginning to sink down. Relaxing through the hips and knees. Hands can also rest down. Feet can be a little further forward. Just finding a place where you can sink down and let go. Feeling opening in those hips and knees. If you don't feel enough, you can always draw the feet a little further in. Starting that hinge at the lower back. Releasing forward and down. When we first started our Zoom yogas, our virtual yogas, we were way back in a cooler time. The weather's now warming up. We may be more outside, more active. When we first began, I had a little flat of plants. I think I showed some of you. Now those plants have moved outside as well, and sometimes plants lean towards the sun, right? Or lean towards their energy source. So here we're leaning as well. We're letting gravity sink us down. We've got some plants out in our garden now. They're growing their roots down. At the same time that they grow their stems and leaves upward. So here in our yin practice, we're rooting down into the cool earth, We're stabilizing. We're creating that foundation. Finding your breath here, breathing deep as you fold forward. Trying to release here through the ears, through the neck, through the jaw. Letting your entire system fold in. If that's intense on feet, you can always fold your mat or a couple layers of mat like I have over for a little extra cushion under those edges of the feet. Finding a way to make the longer holding of yin accessible, feeling a sense of challenge, but sharing that challenge throughout the joints so that no one joint feels overwhelmed. Breathing here. From here, we'll slowly begin to make our way back up. We're going to release the hips just a little here by finding a little side-to-side motion with the legs, putting arms back behind. You can tuck the feet in together, moving the legs gently side to side to release any tension or holding. Just relaxing the hip joints. We have 6 different ranges of motion for the hips. So we're trying to work through all of those in this practice. Something we don't normally do in our regular day. I love this time because I have all my birds visit during yoga. I have cardinals, a nuthatch, a woodpecker, saw a chickadee today. So a nice time to connect with nature. From here, we're going to come back to hands and knees, so bringing the feet back. We're going to move to hands and knees so we can check in with that spine, releasing that forward fold. You always want to stack your joints gently, leaving a little room in the hands and feet. So they're just softly resting. I have some tree frogs, I always think of them. They're sticking their entire hand to that wall to climb straight up it, right? So get that entire hand on your mat if you can, thinking of the whole hand as actively connecting down. From here, we're going to sink the belly button down, rolling the spine, just like a bird bath, right? Facing up towards the sky. We've been filling our bird baths lately. We even have a solar fountain in one. which is fun. But just letting the spine be open to the sky. Gaze can be forward or slightly down. Checking in with what your shoulders are doing here. Trying to sink them into the sockets. Drawing the shoulder blades together just a bit. Of course, I always come eye to eye with my puppy right here. She peers in at me. From here, lifting your spine up, reversing. We got a umbrella this week for our table. Our old one had gone away. So now lifting the spine like an umbrella, raising it up, letting everything just roll off your back to the sides, forward or back, just like an umbrella in the rain. Releasing the head. And then floating through back and forth a few times. And if the holds are ever too long, you can always add a little motion. You don't have to hold. We're just nudging those joints towards their edges. But we want to do that in a beneficial way, a non-painful way. If it becomes painful, then the body is not going to be open, right? The body is not going to be relaxed. So always listening to that little voice. Moving through one more time. Inhaling cow. Exhaling cat. And then sinking back. And of course there's a fine line, right, between challenge and too much intensity. Folding back. Sinking hips to heels. It's always good when starting a new class or taking a class with a new teacher or practice to go a little easier on yourself the first few times. Even a new type of yoga. Seeing how you feel after your practice. Sometimes in the moment you know how you feel, and sometimes later you discover the effects, right? So finding a practice that feels beneficial during and right after, and then later in the day or week. As you sink back to child's, just letting go. Floating down wherever is comfortable. Really letting the hips float back. Feet can be closer in or a little wider out. Same with knees. Just finding a place where you find those edges within your hips. Those gentle points where gravity continues to let you sink down. Where you feel that grounding through the knees, through the tops of feet. Ankles are sinking down. Checking in with your heart here. The heart is grounding as well. Inner child's sinking down and letting go. So as you find that point, just letting the heart release what it needs to release as well. Checking in with your emotions. In times of change, emotions definitely can come into play. When we have new or different stresses that can affect our levels of different emotions. So just being open to that. Noticing what emotions flow through your week. It may be happiness, it may be joy in quiet times. It may be anger over changes that are occurring. It may be sadness. And it's okay to compartmentalize some, but it's also good to connect your emotions so we don't simply store them. If we don't connect with them, it's harder to release them. So breathing here, taking a few more breaths. And from here, we'll shift forward to a gentle plank. If knees or legs have come out wider, bringing them back to neutral, keeping toes by that back edge. Straightening out from shoulders to knees, lowering down. And moving into Sphinx, bringing the arms in under you. Lengthening the spine here. Releasing those ankles if you need to. And I'm going to move just for a moment. You can stay where you are. So as you breathe here in Sphinx, you could also find Seal, which has hands down. That's a little more intense on the arms and can be more intense on the back. So you can always stay lower, arms out wider. Have arms in closer. Really lifting that back, finding that opening curve in the back. We simply just don't do this enough in life. Or you can also draw the hands in a little closer. Pressing through the hands carefully, keeping those elbows back, lifting the shoulders up. Thinking of space in the lower back, still space between each vertebra, shoulders sinking down and back. Breathing into the belly here. Letting the mind focus on your breath. Then sinking down. From here, we're going to lift back up, coming to hands and knees, and we're going to move into straddle. So if you like that elevation, bringing it back again for the hips. We'll bring legs to the side and forward. In straddle, like letting those heels go out to either side. If you have a hard floor, you could always put your hips back off your mat and then place the heels on the mat for extra cushion for those heels. Sometimes those pressure points are intense with our longer holds. So as you sit up tall here and straddle, just beginning to find that neutral in the hips, shoulders sinking down, and just letting a nice gentle roll occur, rolling forward, releasing down. Sinking slowly, letting the hips release. You can always use your block here for a little gentle support too. One or two. If you like to relax those hands a bit, you can have those blocks forward. Then you can just find a nice gentle resting spot on the blocks that releases the hands. Elbows go forward. Breathing down, sinking. Checking in with your feet, noticing if you're centering on each heel. That can sometimes give you an indication of your hip tendencies. Some of us tend towards internal rotation of the hips. Some of us tend towards external. If toes are going back towards the wall behind you, external, right? If toes are tilting in a little, internal. So just trying to find something relatively neutral. Toes over ankles if you can. Just seeing how that affects alignment of the joints from the feet all the way up to the knees, to the hips. And of course, not forcing a twist in that leg that's not comfortable for you, but just seeing how neutral or moving towards neutral feels. Breathing here. And from here, slowly beginning to make our way back up. Moving into caterpillar, so we'll bring the feet together. Again, finding a place if you can where those heels are cushioned a little. Drawing the legs straight out in front of us. Lengthening now, drawing the heels close together, letting those inner ankle bones connect. Feeling stable left to right. And just slowly sinking forward towards the feet, letting the ankles relax as you float down. Letting the hips sink down. If you feel a lot of pull in the back of your spine, you can always bend those knees a little. You can draw arms under the knees, trying to remove the resistance of the hamstrings just a bit so that we find the resistance within the joints instead. That should allow you to sink further deeper into the hips. for most of us. Just noticing that play between the muscles and joints. We're finding a place that's comfortable in our own skin. So we're finding what's natural for us, what we might have done as a kid in terms of finding flexibility or relaxation, floating down. And from here we'll begin to return back up. Bring legs to the side. We'll come through hands and knees. So centering with feet towards that back, short edge of the mat. You can go back to child's for more restful surrender. If you want, you can move into downward dog, checking in with those hands, opening them wide, reversing the ankle, lifting the hips up and back. Reaching the hips into the air. Light on the feet, feeling the backs of toes really grounding down. Heels sinking behind. Here you can shake the head just a little bit side to side, trying to release the neck. Again, feeling that grip through the entire hand. That feeling of connecting through the entire palm. You can pedal heels here if you want. Pressing into the toes. Opening the feet. Then gazing forward. We'll take little steps, bringing the feet forward. Moving into forward fold. Like blocks here, you can use those for a little extra grounding. Bending a little through the knees, hinging at the hips. When I first began these, my dog would bark a lot. She has somewhat mellowed out. And now she'll just lay outside the door, so I think she's doing her yoga too. As time goes by, we get used to things, we adapt, we learn, and we become more comfortable, more anchored within whatever we're going through, more settled and more stable. Holding down here. Excuse me. If you ever yawn during yoga, that's a good sign. You're letting go. If you want, you can bend one knee at a time, feeling that nice opening of the outer side of the legs into the hips, down into the ankle and foot. Pressing those hips back a little to deepen that length. Slowly moving. From here, we're going to bend both knees slightly and move into our chair flow. So here, grounding through the feet. Let's see if I can stand here. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling, reaching forward. You could sweep those arms forward or to the side. And exhaling back down. Coming to chair, sweeping arms. Reaching hips back, feeling that same groundedness and activity through the feet. The entire foot supportive. Inhaling up. Forward folding down. Inhaling out. Exhaling. You can hold anywhere along this flow that you want. You could stay in forward fold or hold your upward salute. Seeing what energy you need at this point. Maybe the expansion and activity is what you need, flowing through. Lifting up. Letting go. Letting the present take over. Back in our forward fold. Whenever you arrive, just sinking down, letting go. Breathing and fold. Relaxing and sinking. From here, we're going to move into our dragon lunge. So we'll step the left foot back, lowering that back knee, relaxing the top of the foot down, checking in that the front knee is a little behind the front ankle, and using floor or blocks, beginning to shift the hips down. Really gently, feeling that length growing from the back patella that's down, that kneecap, all the way through to the front knee. Breathing here, you can stay a little more upright or you can just flow down, sinking into that front leg. Hands can be out in front, to either side or the inside. Finding what feels right for this, especially front hip joint. Finding a place that's not unbearable. We want a little challenge here, but we want peace as well. We're not going to surrender to something unbearable. Breathing here. Letting go. Remember, you can always have that cushion under the back knee. If that point of pressure on the knee is too much, using that blanket under the knee to grow that surface area. And from here, shifting slowly back. Straightening through the front leg. Lifting the front toes up, drawing the hips back so you feel stable and balanced. A lot of support coming from this back leg. I almost don't need arms here other than for balance, right? So front leg, the hip is drawing back. Holding now this front straight leg. If you'd like to add in a bind here, the opposite left hand can come across the right outer foot or inner foot. You can even place the palm on the sole. Breathing here. Floating down. From here, we're going to go right into shoelace. So, shoelace is very similar to Turkish twist. You can add that blanket in under if you want. What we're going to do is simply bend through that front knee and draw that back leg forward a little bit. We're going to draw that foot inward. We're going to sit back behind the knee. I like to sit on my cushion. So I'm going to draw the hips back. So now I have the leg crossed under. Left leg is under, right leg is over. Now, in Turkish twist, if both knees bent is too intense, this lower leg could go out straight. You could simply stabilize here, cross one leg over, and fold like this. If it's okay, keep both knees bent. You're moving towards balancing evenly on both hips. You're sinking those knees down towards each other. So shoelace, crossing the laces here. And trying to relax the hips before you even fold forward. Trying to check in with that upper hip especially. Just noticing where you feel resistance. And sinking down and forward, little by little. A nice relaxation of the upper body onto the legs. Maybe chin can rest on the knee. Or you could stack hands here and rest the forehead on hands. As you go, if you're sinking a little more, just allowing that to happen, allowing the feet to relax and let go. From here, we'll slowly undo our shoelaces here, uncrossing the top leg, bringing both feet back behind, coming back through to hands and knees. Interlace the hips here, just doing a little circular cow and cat. So going into cow, going through the side with the rib cage, rolling it out to the side, then up into cat. Coming down through the other side, elbow and hip on that side separating. Back into our cow. Then if you want, you can go the other way. Just rolling that spine up, releasing the hips. Floating down. Lifting up. Exhaling. Inhaling down. And floating through that one more time. Releasing through. Coming back to the center. And from here we're going to go into dragon lunge on the other side. So left foot stepping forward through the hands. Nice. Big distance between the feet. Finding those blocks if you want them. Adding that cushion under the knee if you want or need it. Sinking the hips down here. Breathing as you sink. Letting energy flow. Noticing what you want and need from each pose. Trying to open that channel of energy that allows you to arrive where you need and want to be. Floating down. Embracing. Creating room in the mind for positive thinking. Letting go of negativity as best we can with every exhale. When we create that space, it helps us see that things are happening how they need to and how they should. From here, reversing back. Both within the pose and off our mat. Things are as they should be. It's not always exactly what we want, but that's okay. Trying to channel that feeling and that intuition that things are going to be okay. That things will work out. As you fold down here, knowing where you feel that resistance, noticing, breathing in, binding if you want, hand to foot. Here, slowly moving into our shoelace, taking your time, shifting to that front foot, feeling support through that entire front foot, bringing the back knee forward a little, placing that blanket back behind, crossing the leg under, so towards the opposite side, crossing this upper foot over, sitting up tall here. Finding that cushion if you need it. If you can't sit tall here, adding a little lift. Feet can come a little more out to the sides. And remember, you can always straighten this lower leg and fold over here. If you have both knees bent, really stabilizing, visualizing that spine in the middle, really straight, both hips even, same distance from the mat. Slowly folding forward. Taking your time. Noticing where you feel resistance. Cushioning the body, supporting, sinking. From here, we'll slowly make our way up. Uncrossing both legs, bringing them forward. Slowly and steadily coming to those windshield wipers again. Letting legs move side to side. Here we're releasing not just muscles, not just joints, but also that fascia that runs throughout the body in big swaths, large lengths. Keeping the body connected, upper and lower. From here, we're going to move into half saddle. So bring the right leg forward, bending the left at the knee. Sitting up tall, you could always use a strap here too if you wanted. But simply folding forward. Reaching for the toes. You have a lot of flexibility. In a block, you can always place that block past the foot and see if hands will connect below the foot. This can be nice for opening through the foot. You can add a little bit of angle. Helps access some of that fascia in the foot as you fold down, sinking low. Breathing here, finding your breath, clearing your mind, remaining in your full. As you move through, listening to the body. As you fold, cooling down here at the end of your day. This is a ritual of letting go, slowing down. Transition between light and dark. It's coming later now each day as we move towards our summer solstice. And from here, returning up, moving into saddle on the other side, bending this knee in. Releasing the other. Letting go here. Our last forward fold of our practice, just letting everything go. Trickling, sinking, floating down towards the earth. Letting those anchors sink down. From here, rolling gently up. Straightening both legs out gently. Lowering back to relaxation. If you need or want any aromatherapy and you have it, feeling free to add that around you. I found my June breeze a few weeks ago, so I'm adding that. And I brought my breathe and sleep out of my car, but I forgot to bring it in. But always lots of good options. To continue to bind the mind to the present moment. And then when we grant ourselves those aromas during other times that we found during our relaxation, it can help bring us back to this feeling in place. So from here, smell very linked with the memory. From here, sinking down. And I know Lisa would be happy to ship those out or meet you if needed at the shop. From here, as you sink down and bend through the knees, just relaxing, letting go. If you feel any tension in the body that you need to let go of, finding a way to do that. Here as you relax down. Slowly letting go. Closing the eyes if you want. You can pause, add layers if you need to. You could put your blanket on top. Or you could simply rest it under the knees like I'm doing. As you float down here, letting the body weight itself down. Just like I was weighting things down in the wind today. Closing the sunshade, putting a brick here or there. In our final relaxation, we're letting the body weight down from the things in our life that cause us to drift or to move too quickly from here to there. In our final relaxation, we are truly in the present moment. We're truly giving ourselves this small bit of time, really, to weigh the present, very importantly, to connect with the present very deeply. So as you relax here, resting arms and legs down, resting hands and feet, releasing the muscles around the eyes, the nose, and the jaw. As you relax, letting a sense of goodness take over you, a sense of okayness, a sense that things are good, things are right. And as you breathe, releasing the body down, releasing the mind as well, letting it sink. More and more each moment. Breathing here. Finding complete stillness. Finding peace. Breathing and feeling. we'll slowly start to reconnect to the body, finding gentle motion. Thought for today comes from Randy Pausch. We cannot change the cards we are dealt, just how we play the hand. So remembering to look that hand over carefully, figuring out ways to make that work for us each day. From here, as you come back to the present moment, we'll simply turn to one side and pause a moment, thinking of what you're thankful for today. And then we'll return back to easy pose, sitting up, however is comfortable. As you sit, feeling stable and energized, also flexible and calm, lifting arms overhead, connecting to the breath once more, inhaling, arms up, exhaling, bringing hands to the heart. Thank you for creating yoga within your life. The light within me bows to the light within you. Namaste.